Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Resident Rulebreakers. I'm Kayla.
And I'm Camille.
Well, let's just say that today's podcast is exciting, and also rewatching Run, Dr. Run, which is episode 113 of The Resident, was also a reminder of a lot of different plot lines. It's a forgotten about episode for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we had to I forgot about the guy who like followed Nick everywhere, and I forgot about like Jessie and her overdose and stuff.
That's the first one. I mean, it is her entrance into the show. But before we get into the episode, we do have some exciting news. The last 2 or 3 months, we've been getting questions about when's the premiere date? When's the premiere date? And all we could tell them was January. That's not
January, yeah.
Now we actually have a date, January 12th, 2021, yep. Which is a Tuesday.
Yay. I'm just glad we get to when the show's gonna start. But I'm excited too about it. There's so many. I feel like with the what's that called? But yes, they're gonna be talking about COVID. God.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Okay, guys, it's not like this is new information. If you've been paying attention in the group since like June, you know that they were going to be covering COVID because we talked about it with Amy before it really went anywhere else. Right here on the Resident Rulebreakers, we talked about it with Amy Holden-Jones, and so yeah. Here's the thing: it's a medical drama. Every medical drama is covering COVID. Okay, it's. I think it would be irresponsible if they didn't.
It would be stupid. Like, how can you?
And if you're using The Resident as a escapism tool, it's not the right show. I'm sorry. It's just they pull things right out of the headlines and make it real. Yeah. And
like I said, I mean, it would be really, really stupid if you're a medical drama and ignore the biggest medical story of the century kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And seriously, there are doctors in this writing room, doctors and nurses who are in this writer's room. If they didn't write about what they were seeing on the front lines, it would be a disservice to their field.
Career, yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's just, it's frustrating how people are always like, I wanted to escape from reality or whatever. So I'm like, it's a medical drama. Did you seriously?
If you want to escape from reality, go watch a superhero show where they have all these special effects and everything else. That's escape from reality.
Oh my God, this is crazy.
Okay. I'm just saying, and I think some shows did it that because it was easier to include the restrictions that they have into the plot line. Easier to make it writable. That's it. That's my opinion on it. So, but
Amy did say it's only gonna be touched upon it during the premiere. That's it. It's not gonna be like a whole.
It's not like it's gonna be like thrown out like some shows have done. But yeah,
is that gonna be a 16 episode? Is that going to be a 16 episode storyline of the coronavirus?
Yeah, exactly. It's not going to be...
You're only going to get 1 hour, you're fine. You can deal with it.
Yeah. And they're just trying to honor these doctors and nurses who have suffered and dealt with this for months upon months now. And that's what this is. And according to what we read, it's going to be done in flashbacks.
Yep.
So it's not like it's what's currently happening. This is what happened at the beginning of the pandemic.
Yep.
So,
and they mentioned coronavirus in the season finale last season. So,
yeah,
I mean,
I mentioned that. I mentioned that to someone in the group when they were bashing the idea, and I was like, they mentioned it in the finale, dude. Come on.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure they dubbed it in. They didn't like.
It wasn't written in initially, but they did dub it in to make sure that it was there. So they took time to make sure that it was referenced.
Yeah. So they mentioned it before the other shows did.
Yep, the resident is on their A game and timely, and the season 4 poster released this week too, and there's a reminder in there of the way they did it with the blue line across their face. It's a reminder of the mask. Pretty much they're hiding. Yep. It's the mask. Like they're just saying, wear your mask, essentially.
Yep. I didn't get that memo. Like all I got from it was everyone has a front line or something like that, and I'm sitting there like, cute. I like the blue line. I didn't think of it as a mask. Y'all were like, until you said something, and I'm sitting there going, okay.
I didn't realize it either until it was in the article. It's actually in the article where they revealed it.
Yeah,
but that's exactly why.
Anyway, I'm just so glad that it's already done.
Yeah, the premiere is filmed, guys, so there's no amount of complaining that's going to change this.
Yeah, and like I said, like Amy said, it's supposed to be only the first episode that they touch upon it, so it's not like they're going to be talking about it all season or whatever. So just deal with it for 1 hour and then you'll be fine.
Yeah, also, Guy Dilemma, who is the set photographer, just posted a photo of the director for 4-3 and 4-4, Rob Greenlea, who also directed episode 207 and 314. So he's directed 2 other episodes of The Resident, and that will be him doing 4-3 and 4-4. So
that's cool.
Yeah. So a lot of times we'll get this information straight from Guy. But I wanted to mention that we know who the director is for the next set of episodes.
If you are go to our Patreon account, we got some big news that we posted on Patreon that only our patrons.
Yeah, here's the thing. There's news that we have that right now we're only revealing to our Patreon patrons, and those are people who pay to help support the podcast. So if you want to get this information, by the way, you can not spread it to the rest of the people, okay? We want you to keep it a secret until we can announce it.
Go to our Patreon account, because seriously, we have some news on there that are only exclusive so far to the patrons. And like I said, the minimum is only $1 a month. It's not like it's cheaper than those like feed the children commercials. Yeah. I told that to my mom. I was like, Ma, it's cheaper than the feed the children commercials. You get some exclusive news that we haven't told anybody yet. So
but there's that. Also, in the premiere, as we mentioned last week, there will be a wedding. So it's not like it's going to be COVID. It's going to have reference COVID, but there's going to be a wedding of Conrad and Nick. So it's in there. And so it'll have some light moments too, apparently. That's all we know at this moment. But Fox and the writers of The Resident really want to honor the frontline workers, and so I'm looking forward to seeing what they're doing. So anyway, 113, which is the topic of this podcast, was also directed by James Roday Rodriguez, who directed the episode we did last week's podcast, 112. And then it was written by Todd Harthan, who is an co-EP for The Resident, Tianna Langham, and Chris Bessounian. So yeah, they're big names on The Resident stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
it seems like the episode title is like literally perfect, because I don't think not many doctors in that episode stood still.
One, you can't watch an episode of The Resident and Conrad's always running somewhere, right?
Yeah.
That's how Matt sprained his ankle anyway. This episode actually has a tie into Gilmore Girls. Speaking of Matt.
Oh yeah, Kathleen Wilhoite.
Yeah, the lady that played Claudia, the patient. She plays Luke's sister in Gilmore Girls.
She plays Jess's mother.
She's Jess's mother.
But Liz, she plays Liz, Jess's mom on Gilmore Girls and stuff. But yeah,
But I wanted to bring that up for people who, for the Gilmore Girls, but for the people, character that Kathleen plays, her name is Claudia.
Yep.
And Claudia runs a catering company, and she hires ex-convicts who can't get a job anywhere else because of their criminal record to work in her bakery, and she brings them.
We should have more people like that.
And
we should have more people like that, because I honestly feel like a lot of people who are convicts, I guess, when they get out of jail, that's the thing they have the hardest time finding is a job. But if people could give them a chance, I'm pretty sure they won't be repeat convicts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but in this story, she helps them, bring their life back to normal and get an income and stuff. And anyway, she becomes pretty much a mother figure to these people. But anyway, this lady ended up getting a brain-eating amoeba, which is like a really rare
from the water part.
From the water or whatever.
Did what's her name do a storyline on Water Park? Priya? I remembered in an episode before. Priya was talking to Devon about water, and that's why I thought
contaminated water. Yeah.
That's why I thought maybe Devon got the light bulb moment when they mentioned the water park, because Priya was talking about it. But then maybe
Devon, Devon's the real hero of the episode here, because he has this moment where he goes, I remember this from, medical school, and he saved her life. All around. So.
Irving and Tasso and Manish, in that scene, tag teaming the guy's phone number.
Yeah, they spent a lot of time trying to get this guy who's the only manufacturer of this drug, because the amoeba is so rare that there's no way Big Pharma can manufacture this drug, and because it has a low shelf life or something. And so he makes it and brings it personally, but it's expensive. It was $48,000 for one dosage, which is insane. But the fact is, she didn't have health insurance. And for the people listening to us who aren't Americans and watch this show, obviously you understand somewhat how our healthcare system works, but it's just, if you don't have health insurance, you're kind of screwed in this country. It's really difficult to find ways to get treatment. And they don't care about you, really. They just, like Conrad said, we have to get it off Belle's radar and dump her. And it happens more times than not, sadly enough.
Yeah, it's people keep talking about how negative social medicine is or whatever. So I'm sitting there going, it's got to be better than people dying because they can't afford to pay for the medical bills.
I absolutely
which would
agree.
you prefer?
I'd rather be able to go to the doctor when I need to and not have it break my budget.
Exactly. It costs less money to do preventable care than it is when you have when you actually have the disease or whatever. So, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
But I just wanted to bring that up. But yeah, Conrad mentions that Belle doesn't like this scenario, and at the end of the episode, Belle points at him and says, "You would have been fired if she had died or whatever."
Yeah.
So, but she's one of the only people in the U.S. who survived this amoeba.
Yeah, there's only 1 of 5. She's the 5th person.
Yeah.
To actually survive it, but it's crazy.
And then there's the device where they lower her body temperature so they could wait for the drug. Yeah. So there was hypothermia. Pretty much make her have hypothermia until they could get the drug in her.
Talk about her and her guys. My favorite part was when Nick went upstairs and recognized the big guy.
It does. It all these plot lines all kind of tied in, weaved in together. Yeah.
And then she sent him to the guy who's been harassing her. It's like, hi, she wanted to return the favor.
Yeah. Speaking of Nick's plot line in this episode, not only does her sister show up for the first time. Jessie's first episode is this one played by Juliana Gill, and she is found by Nick in Nick's apartment, OD'd on oxy, and
on the floor.
And Nick, because Jessie tried to call Nick, and she was with Conrad, and Nick is like, I don't want to tell my sister, and she regrets it later, but she gave her Narcan because Jessie's overdosed before, apparently. So,
yeah,
and it saved her life enough for them to get her to Chastain and get her enough to where she could be discharged. But before Nick can make a decision to help her sister get into rehab, bad things happen because she's trying to trace.
Well, Lane first came in to offer her, like, she was like, hey, look, I have family who's also has issues. He's been clean for however many years. I can help you out by, getting your sister to Crossroads or whatever. And Nick is like, the last thing I want is your help.
But it ends up, that's exactly where Jessie goes. But before Nick can take her herself, she ends up getting framed for breaking and entering to the clinic by Lane and her friend, Allie. And she is in jail. So Conrad, per Nick's request, takes Jessie to rehab, and Jessie doesn't like Conrad. Not at this moment, anyway.
But, like, the whole thing with Nick and that phone call and going to the clinic, like, girl, are you stupid? Like, why? Like, she's smart, right? But there has got to be some kind of thinking skills lacking in that one. Why would you go to a clinic that is not, cool with you or whatever at 4:00 in the morning without any backup, without any, like, I should be careful with this situation or what. I was like, I understand that she wanted to take Elaine down, but there is some serious lacking thinking skills on that one.
Yeah, there is. But as we know, Nick was innocent. So, but we'll talk about this plot line again because it's in the finale. But
yeah.
The thing is, Nick or Jessie references that Nick's background isn't completely clean.
No.
And it's never, that's really one of the only times it's hinted at that Nick's got this background.
Well, it was also hinted in the Halloween episode, I thought.
In the Halloween episode, yeah.
Yeah.
But they haven't really delved into this. With Jessie dead, who else can they deal with? Not maybe Kyle. They can use Kyle to bring up Nick's past.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Conrad and Nick will be married by then, so isn't it a little too late for him to figure all this out? Shouldn't he know this already?
Yeah. So many plot lines that the resident have dropped, seriously.
Anyway, that'll be a good plot line to bring Kyle back in for, though. And then there's another plot line because, we have AJ. AJ is the second episode. And York makes his appearance. York was in the multiple surgery episode where the syrup bottle guy.
Oh, God. That was the funniest episode.
And anyway, he brings his mom in. And she has a heart issue, but she doesn't want to go under general anesthesia. So Nina says, oh, we can do this awake surgery. I just need AJ so we can do it, right?
Yeah.
She's still on her residency, so she can't do it all by herself. Anyway, it's funny because AJ's in there and they're trying to help her and they're talking and everything. And, they're doing pretty good. But Jessica walks in and she doesn't read the sign.
Yeah, oh my God, Jess. That was so funny when she talks about like her chlamydia grandma talking about like everybody's getting estrogen and Viagra and all these things. And AJ's like, the patient is awake. Like you can't. Oh my God, that was just so horrible. That's so embarrassing.
Yeah, it is. But Jess did a phenomenal job performing that one. Anyway, like in the end, they had to put her to sleep because her heart went out of rhythm, and they had to put her under to fix it. So, but she ended up surviving and everything. And York was like, "Well, Devon, Pravesh, you did good this time, because last time with her, Devon left the syrup lid and yeah."
And then Devon pulled the wrong York.
He pulled the wrong Evans out of it.
He pulled out the wrong X-ray, so that's how his mom found out about the syrup bottle incident. Because, like, I guess Devon on the computer to try to look at her X-rays, but she pulled up the wrong person's X-rays. The picture was right there. That was so funny.
Yeah, it was a little bit of comic relief for the episode. So, with like all that, next week is Thanksgiving. We have a special Thanksgiving themed episode. We're going to be discussing Peking Duck Day, which is episode 308. We're getting a little closer to the end of the series for this one, obviously.
Yeah. This is where we meet his
biological brothers.
Yeah.
And his two families meet each other for the first time.
I'm excited about that one.
So
I love the family.
But actually, in this current episode, AJ references his background to Mina.
Yep.
And he mentions his dad is Chinese.
Looks like Chow Yun-Fat.
Yeah. And his mom looks like Mary J. Blige. I was just like, they did good nailing that one.
Yeah, but I don't think Denise Styles looked like Mary J. Blige.
Well,
I don't know.
They did a good job with the continuity wise.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so next week, tune in for our Thanksgiving special and join us in celebrating a time to be thankful for what you have.
Yep.
But fair warning, please try to keep your Thanksgiving gatherings small so we don't have COVID explosions right at Christmas.
Yeah. Hundreds of thousands of new cases a day. Jesus, what the heck?
Yeah. Anyway,
but,
just a warning, guys. Come on. Anyway, so Patreon. We mentioned it at the beginning, but we're gonna mention it again. If you want to be help us keep the podcast growing and to get special things that we're not going to reveal to you in the podcast or on our social media, otherwise. Become a Patreon patron. It's only $1 a month, and you get this information. You can go higher, and the higher you go, the more perks you get. There's stickers and shirts and mugs and posters and stuff. The higher you go, but the lowest is $1 a month, and you get BTS. There's a few things on there already that we're not really revealing to anyone else. So. Go check that out. It's patreon.com.
It's exclusive for now.
Yeah. Patreon.com/The Resident Podcast.
You will if you become our patron, you'll get news before everybody else. Kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Get exclusive news from us. Straight from us.
Anyway, our email, if you want to email us, it's theresidentRulebreakers@gmail.com.
Yep.
Our social media, Facebook. We have a Facebook page, which is the Resident Rulebreakers podcast. Really easy to find. Facebook group, which is connected to the Facebook page if you're not already a member of the Resident Fox fans. And you can click there, join, answer all the questions, or we will deny you. Please be kind to everyone else in the group and read every announcement because those are important. If we put them in that announcement folder, it's important that you know this information.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then Instagram, the Resident Podcast. And then, of course, Camille's is at Resident on Fox Fans, and I'm at KB Country 37.
Yep.
And then Twitter is at Resident Podcast. So,
yay!
all our social media. And then, of course, you can listen on various platforms: Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and YouTube. And so the only other podcast we have planned for the month of November is the one for the season 1 finale, Total Eclipse of the Heart 114 on the 30th. So next week is obviously Peking Duck Day. So until then, I'm Kayla.
And I'm Camille.
Bye, guys.
Bye.